1966, yeah. The shooting of 3 police officers at the Scrubs. John Dudley and A. Roberts get 30 years, life to 30 years. So they go to Wandsworth, and Wandsworth in them days was a real bad prison. I mean, really bad. You know, ex-MP screws, bully Bateses, growling all the time. You know, you had little aluminium pea pots and all that, and 3 or 4 in a cell. Absolute dives, you know. If he didn't work in that shop, you know, in the what's the name, in a sewing shop, you don't get a job. Yeah, it's one of them places. Yeah, like 10 stitches to an inch and all that crap, or something silly like that. Yeah, and there was no money, but you was earning a little bit of money to get a little bit of tobacco or get, you know, bits and pieces. So Harry Roberts and John Dudley got a job in there. In 1969, they're still there. You could be there for ages in them days. 1969, they're still there, and the Krays come in with their firm on the same wing. Reggie and Ronnie do the exact same thing as what they've been doing outside, start bullying and get their little firm to do things, yeah? Reggie walks by John Dudley's cell and goes in his cell and puts it on him, and then one comes behind him and puts it on John Dudley. John Dudley's a right inoffensive guy. I was in council with him. Nice guy, yeah? Even though he shot a police officer, he's a nice person. They bully him, right? But they want tobacco of him. So when they go out of the cell, he goes straight to Harry Roberts, as his desk about 4 cells down, and he tells Harry what's going on. Harry ain't going to stand with that. Harry's going to have a right fight, mate. So he walks by Reggie Kray's cell, and it's open. And he goes by again to see if Ronnie's cell's open, and it's shut. So he slips into Reggie's cell, puts it on Reggie's. Reggie jumps off the bed, and bump. Harry Roberts hits him on the chin. He hits the floor, but he gets up again, and then Harry Roberts goes in and bashes him right up, right? So anyway, so all the alarm bells are going. He gets out. He doesn't get nicked. Reggie and Ronnie Kray get together, and the next thing is Harry Roberts and John Dudley get shipped out. They think that the Krays have grassed them up, which I feel they was right. So they go to another nick where they met a guy called Peter Gibbs. Peter Gibbs, quickly, I know Peter Gibbs really well. I used to work with Peter Gibbs in Stanwell and by the airport, and you know, I used to do bits and pieces with Peter. But anyway, so Peter Gibbs, short, stocky guy, little dangerous little man, and I think he was doing a 12 or something like that for forgery and all that. So anyway, they make Harry Roberts is Peter Gibbs' mate. They come from the same area. They both go a bit of scrap. They come in, the Krays come in, and now Harry Roberts and John Dudley are in the same prison. So all of a sudden, Harry Roberts and John Dudley get shipped out again. They're thinking it's the Krays that's put it on them. So they go to another nick. Peter Gibbs gets a visit from the Krays. What you doing? Talking to them people, yeah? That sort of thing. Well, Peter Gibbs ain't no fool, mate. But as they go in the cell, they've seen a picture of Harry Roberts and John Dudley with signatures underneath, yeah? So he's gone, where'd you get, who done that and all that crap? And when they look round, there was another picture of the Krays that Peter Gibbs has done. But Peter Gibbs is a fraudster, and he also does a signature too. So they want to know how he done the signatures, yeah? So he got to tell him this, that and the other. He doesn't want to make enemies of them because even though he can have a fight, he knows he's going to come unstuck being there by himself, yeah? Because the other two are gone. So he starts doing paintings for them and getting paid for it, which is, you know, he doesn't mind, but he gets shipped out. He also gets shipped out. I think that they took some paintings of him, grassed him up, and then they shipped him out. So they go to Parkhurst now. That's Peter Gibbs, John Dudley, and Harry, yeah? Harry Roberts. So they go there, And they're all mates that look, and he's going, Peter Gibbs, he said, yeah, them crazy bullied me to do pictures for them and signatures. He said, I had to do it. He said, even though that I want to have a row with them. Anyway, before you know where you are, the Krays are coming into Parkhurst. But they're coming on the same wing. The same wing as Harry Roberts and John Dudley. But before you knew what happened, Harry Roberts and John Dudley get shipped out to another part of the prison. So they're now thinking that it's down to the Krays. But Peter Gibbs stays on the same wing. They slip into Peter Gibbs and say, look, what's your idea of leaving? But he knows it's them that's grassed him up because they've nicked the paintings. So they go into Peter Gibbs and give him grief. They want more paintings done. As I said, Peter Gibbs was a fool still, yeah? So Ronnie Kray comes into Peter Gibbs' cell, give Peter Gibbs a bit of stick, and Peter Gibbs snaps a paintbrush, and stabs him in the leg. He runs out to his little firm, and Peter Gibbs shuts the door, slams the door. There's 3 people in his cell. He slams the door. Now the screws are on the door to let people back into the cell. But what happens as the screws open the door? Peter Gibbs has plunged one of the screws with thinking whatever, not thinking straight. He gets shipped out. He gets a bit more bird. He gets bashed up really, really badly. That's what happens, yeah. So I meet Peter Gibbs in Stanwell later on when I come out of doing another sentence. Peter Gibbs is a bit of a nut. He looks after Stanwell. Stanwell belonged to an Arab prince, part of Stanwell that he was at, yeah. And there was all garages, but there was all really, really old-fashioned, and he had old-fashioned carts in there for the horses that used to carry the prince around and all the people, and they were worth a fortune. And he sold them, Peter, got a lot of money for them, yeah. And I went there, and the other reason I went there to find out that I heard it that I could get to do greenery, yeah. So got all of Peter was all for it. Peter a lot of money, got this, got that, got tents, got everything. They also had a barn in there that I converted. And Peter Gibbs took me to his flat. And Peter was a bit of a guy that was very, very untidy. He had a dog and it was stunk in there. It was really bad, yeah. But Peter Gibbs used to do snide watches too, Rolexes, Longines. He used to do them. I don't know, he used to do them, but he used to do them, make them, yeah. And he had pictures all around his flat of the Krays and signatures. But what he used to do, what he was very good at, was the leak glass, yeah? He used to get glass, really good bits of glass, and forge the leak signature. He used to earn fortunes, mate. And he used to also give it to people that had auctions, and they'd put it in there, and they'd, auction it off and get good money for it. And he was doing the Krays pictures too. He had loads. He was earning fortunes. But he used to take a lot of sulphate, Peter. A lot of sulphate, yeah. And, I went down there one day to see him, to see how it was going with my thing. And he'd nicked everything. He said it come on top. He had to get rid of it, but I know he nicked it. And he come to a lot of money, right? I went mad. I went absolutely crazy. I wanted to kill him, And I thought, listen, a lesson, wipe your mouth, mate, you know what I mean? It ain't worth it, you know what I mean? So he was on sulphate really, really bad, and I went round his flat to see him, and and then I was told that he died, and they went in there, and the flat was like a dump. But he had so much in there, watches. Fool's watches. He made watches up. He'd done all the Krays pictures. He had this, that and the other. And all that stuff went to an auctions, and they got really, really good money for it. All the pictures, the paintings, letters. He even done Krays letters and done it. He earned a fortune, Peter Gibbs. And me and Peter, shame really, because I like Peter, but he got on sulphate. It just killed him. you know, it was just too much for him. He'd take it all the time, 2 or 3 big spoons in a tea and all that. He's an absolute nut, you know. But thought it was only a little podcast about Peter Gibbs, about Harry and John Dudley, yeah. But Harry Roberts is now out of prison, yeah. But all the others, I mean, all the people that he knows, like Peter Gibbs and John Dudley, all dead. But John Dudley, shame, mate. John Dudley was a diamond. I like John, but you know, he died in prison, mate, and that's nothing worse. Never been out to get out, you know. And he had lovely kids. As the kids used to come and see him every 2 or 3 weeks, 2 daughters. You know, and you see that it just killed him, mate. It just killed him, the pain of it, you know what I mean? Anyway, bang, bang, well, nice one.